Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, changing. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on this channel. We cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today is going to be absolutely crazy, guys, because we got Bitcoin just below 114 with the bounce back of all bounce backs. Ethereum just under that 4,200. A lot of things are running today. We had a huge run up from Agent Hustle last night. XRP looks to be running. Hype is running. Wilfi. I mean, everything right now. My whole board is green. Even Dog is getting his little legs going. So this is really exciting times because we do expect us to kind of run in October. But this last week would be really nice. No one's expecting it, right? The path of most pain definitely seems to be a short squeeze, right? Whether that comes in the sense of right away or it comes over time and it kind of pushes out a lot of these shorts because that's what it is right now. It's leverage trading is one, it's destroying our markets, and two, it is you know, the up and the downs, right? The short squeezes, the and then the long beat downs, right? So it's just happening over and over and over, and it's almost like it's like a script at this point. It's like let's ruin the shorts, so let's destroy the longs and just bounce back and forth. It's kind of where we've been at since, I don't know, go all the way to July and August, right? So, but I do think we're going to bounce out of that. I do think that we're going to come out of this and be stronger than before. There is a war right now between Hyperliquid and Aster, but the two generals of those armies seem very calm, right? You got Jeff over at Hyperliquid. I mean, he seems cool as a cucumber, man. And then CZ, and then the head guy over at Aster. But everyone else says it's a war. But does CZ own all the Hyperliquid? Is he the largest holder of the Hyper token? We're gonna find that out as well. So let's get the show started. We got my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling today? And what's going on with these markets, man? Why are we green today?
I think we're green today because we've been punched down with so much red the past couple days, right? And so it's time for it to swing back to the upside, right? And I do feel better about today when I'm looking at the price action, because I do feel like Bitcoin and Ethereum are picking a sense of direction. We'll see if we that consistency stays up, right? Because you know, we need to get back to 115, 116 for me to feel even better about it. But I do feel better about the price action for the first time this week. I feel decent about it in terms of where maybe Bitcoin is headed to finish out the week.
Yeah, 100%. To you, does it feel like the perp exchanges are really running the markets right now, or roning the markets right now, as I like to say?
Well, when you're in the markets every day like us, I mean, we're constantly researching, we're delivering news and stuff like that. It can seem more intense, right? But there's no doubt that the perps and leverage, you know, sector is having a large impact on the swings that we see, right? And yes, you can start with Bitcoin and Ethereum as being the, you know, the two gauntlet, like the two giants here. And then the people that like to get riskier, they're going to get even more wrecked on the downside, like if they're taking leverage on these more risky assets, right? Because they seem to swing even more intensely one way or the other. So yes, you know, short answer would be yes, it is impacting it. I don't think necessarily it's killing it, but it does stall momentum, but both ways, right? So if something, you know, seems to be bleeding out, you know, the market makers will try to get the shorts as well. But there should be a time in a bull market year that we see consistent success, right? And you know, hopefully we got 1 quarter left, right? So
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. My guy PlanB, before we get into the leading topic today, I just want to kind of go over that. So my man PlanB came out yesterday, first time in a long time. He says, whether you like it or not, Bitcoin's value is very much linked to scarcity. Fiat will be printed, Bitcoin will rise. And he actually came out with a chart. Let me find his chart here. Where did you go? There it is. All right, so this is a chart that I've been following for a long time, right? Years and years and years. I first picked it up back in like early 2020. But yeah, this is it right now. So as you can see, you know, last cycle we had this upward momentum, and right as we get into the yellow, we started to fade, right? So this is kind of where we're at now. You know, we are entering the yellow, and if you guys don't know what these colors are, the blue happens right before the halving, and the white and red happen after the halving, right? So as soon as the halving happens, we start getting red dots, and the closer we get to the halving, we get lighter and lighter. So you can look at this, for instance. So right now, if you kind of look at this last dot that we got, we are about here. We're about halfway, almost halfway to the next halving, and we are starting to turn yellow here. But I'm in the camp that we could potentially see hires all the way up. You know, I think the top's going to be mid 2026 around here before we get to that top of 700K. But I don't know. What do you think about this chart? It's not going as quick as normal, but it's still on track.
yeah, and we still have some kind of that orange color left, right, to kind of pop back up. Hopefully, we see that. But an interesting thing yesterday, we looked at the, you know, gold ETF. I don't know if we looked at that at a later show instead of the morning show. But once the ETF launched in 2004, we did see a little bit of this kind of like kind of sideways with a slight uptrend, and then all of a sudden it gets hyper aggressive, and then it's a whole nother energy continued on from that point. So when does that happen with Bitcoin? We might just be going through that kind of, you know, that initial part, and then we start to see the volatility to the upside for Bitcoin at least, and whether that starts you know, Q4 this year or sometime in 2026. I do think we get that, but going back to this chart, it's going to make this chart look very different, right? If that's the case. So I'm not too worried about kind of like this kind of boring energy but it's still upward trajectory, right? We still need to see that excitement pop at some point, because we've seen that happen in the previous, you know, 4 cycles there, or 3 cycles.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look for this is last November, right? November, December. It looked like we were having a normal cycle up to that point, right? And then we just had this right here. But if you look, this is very similar to this right here as well, this little pop-up. So some people are saying that this is the second level of the top, and you know, the cycle's over. But I'm actually in the camp that is saying, what's more likely, do you think? Do you think this being a top, or do you think us coming up and actually touching this line?
I think the second option, you know, we come
Touching
up
the line.
later. Yeah, and touch the line. But it might be stretched out like that though, because it seems like that's what the trajectory is. But what happened, during that time period that you mentioned, where the blue kind of switches over to the red? What was the big major event? Right, it was the switch over
What
of
happened?
administration. You know what I mean? And
Well,
because you
that
said,
was right here.
yeah, well, I think you said like November was whenever the blue was, right? Whenever the blue stopped.
No. Well, that's yeah. Well, no, that's halving. So that's February. That's March of 2024.
Gotcha. Okay, so regardless, like the new administration was a big difference, and I think that
Right,
that's what's
right
kind of
here.
string.
Just down.
Yeah, I think that's what the difference is, right? And look, I mean, like every 4 years there's a new administration too. We know that, but with this administration, the biggest difference was, obviously it's polarizing for the country in terms of the people that didn't want it and people that did want it, but more than that, it's the crypto friendly administration and how they're handling that, and how institutions and TradFi is coming in. They're trying to control the narrative. So there's a lot of this stuff that's, in my opinion, keeping it like suppressed a little bit, even though you would think opposite, because a lot of us were happy heading into this year. But I do think there's going to be a moment where that, kind of the top gets blown off a bit with that.
I hope so, man. I really do. I just think that right now it's just a tough time to be in the markets. I mean, we've dealt with this. This hasn't been fun. Like, I mean, over the last 12 months, it just hasn't been fun. I mean, I'll say the last 9 months just have not been fun at all. It's actually been a little bit depressing in the sense of where we think we're headed. And I'm not even talking about the price action. I'm just talking about like new projects entering the market, a sense of, urgency from investors to kind of get their bags ready and stuff like that. We're just not seeing any urgency in the market. Everyone seems to be very, very calm when it comes to the TradFi guys. They're just picking and choosing the assets that they want to hold. Especially you're seeing the ones that are getting these DATs, right? Treasury companies and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm really hoping for some upside movement here, but I mean, my top is still mid 2026. So we'll see if we can push up the next 8 months. So
Yeah, I do see a sense of urgency from the institutions only, though, and I think that where we don't see it is from maybe the whales, and we have heard from people that do know a lot about the industry, maybe behind the curtains even a little bit, like founders of chains. Jeff has mentioned that people are looking towards taking leverage instead of getting into spot positions, because to them it makes sense to do that, instead of like holding spot, because they can scalp their trade or make their move and get out and then reset and focus. And if you have whales doing that, that means they're not buying spot tokens. They're not focused necessarily on new tokens for spot. They're focused on new tokens for leverage. So, I guess going back to your point, to kind of kicking the show off, asking me, hey, is leverage killing the space? I don't know if it's killing it, but it could be, taking liquidity away from number go up for a lot of different projects. And then you have the people that are being aggressive, but they're institutions, right? So they're buying ETFs. They're trying to form these treasury companies, and that could be good for the token. But like, we're just kind of getting started with a lot of these treasury companies in terms of the risk on type of tokens.
Yeah, 100%. Let's jump into our lead story here. Hyperliquid versus Aster, Sinister plan exposed. So this guy, MNTD.HL, he had a tweet here. And he basically said it's pretty obvious now that the number one holder is Binance or CZ related wallet. So he's basically coming out saying the number one holder of Hype is a CZ/Binance. I don't know. I'm having trouble believing that. I looked at this guy. He has about 15K subs, so he's not like a large source, right, of news. He's never really been that. This is just someone who got retweeted by a bunch of people. What do you think about this? Do you think that's true? Do you think Binance is one of the largest holders of the Hype token?
Why wouldn't you say it would benefit you to take a position in that early? Once you start to see momentum, and you start to see that this platform is being heavily used, and it became really like the spotlight outside of Solana, for the entire space, right? People trading on it, people talking about the Hype token airdrop. So it makes sense. And even if they were a little bit late, it still makes a lot of sense, because they have that much, they can do that. They have that size, right? So they can size in and why does it benefit them? Because it gives them leverage on, first of all, if there's governance down the line. Also, if they want to, crash the price, they have the ability to do so. So really kind of, if you're talking about pure competition and gameplay, it's a smart move, but it's not necessarily a classy one or a gentleman move, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think that there's too many gentleman moves in this game, right? It's all about having the edge and leverage on your competitor, and so I would not be shocked if they do hold a significant amount of this. Now, Hyperliquid, I think, is okay with it, because I think they prepare for situations like this, and it's going to be interesting to see how much of like this kind of speculative war or tension between the two entities actually exist, and if it does exist, where does that go? Where does it take it?
Yeah, and as you can see, like, this is kind of what this giant whale has been doing. He sells another 370K hype, 1.17 million today, including 200K hype within 50 minutes. So he's just this giant whale. He's just selling, right? Whether that's Binance, who got in early and is just making profit, or whatever, this whale seems to be selling, down his position every single day. But he accumulated it in the beginning. He was one of the big reasons why it went to $40 from $8, right? So from November to about March. But now he's kind of selling down. And I think this might have been Binance's plan. I'm very suspicious of these products that come out and that are messing up the way these exchange mafias work, right? So that might have been the plan in the beginning, to accumulate a lot of this token for a beatdown, right? For something crazy to happen. But now they might be like, you know what? Let's just beat them with our own DEX, Aster, and they might be trying to get out this token. Or this might be just somebody who had insider information on this, accumulated, and now is just trying to take profit up here at $40-$50. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's either really malicious or not malicious at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously those are the two options there, but like, doesn't it make you scratch your head that like Arthur Hayes and some of these other big accounts are exiting their hype position whenever, just I think like 2 weeks ago or last month, Arthur Hayes was talking about Hyperliquid getting to like going up 1,000x or whatever huge number he said, only to really unload his position. And the explanation was not sufficient, in my opinion. He doesn't even need an explanation, but if he's going to give one, give a better one than that, right? I don't know.
I mean, you're talking about a quarter. What is it? There's like a quarter of Hyperliquid available, right? So if you go in here and then just go to the hype token, if you look at the amount circulating versus the amount coming out, right? Total supply $1 billion, circulating 270. If you're going to tell me that over the next 6 months we're going to double the circulating supply, I'm going to get a little worried too, right? I mean, we're talking about 100% inflation potentially in the next 6 months, and then their team wallets, right? So these guys who've been working for free basically, because for a long time now have an opportunity to sell down some of the hype tokens that they earned. So I mean, that is a good explanation in my opinion. You hold it, you pump it, you make your $1 million like he did, Arthur Hayes, and then you take your profit and potentially buy it back in December, January when a lot of these tokens unlock.
Yeah, possibly, but he, so that means he's not anticipating any type of run up in Q4, because I would imagine the people that the unlocks go to, they're not going to sell it right away if there's a potential for Hyperliquid to get to $100 by December. You know what I mean? Now, I'm never in the camp of trying to call the top of anything, because I think that's really, really hard to do. But like, the opportunity is there, and we got 3 months, at least. Like, let's see what happens in October. Maybe it jumps in. I think we actually had this exact conversation about Hyperliquid maybe last week, about why not wait until late October to see if it gets to 60 or 70. I mean, that's a substantial, almost 50% rise up. And to me, if you don't take that opportunity, that means something, or you have a strong conviction in one way or the other that either the overall market's going to go, or Hyperliquid itself.
Yeah, I think you're underestimating the power of the first time you become a millionaire, right? So a lot of these guys working for this team, this is the first time ever in their lives they become a millionaire, right? They might want to buy a house. They might want to buy a car. They've made millions of dollars over the course year and a half, right? So a lot of them are for the first time ever realizing, hey, you know what? I can get out of my parents' house now. Like I you know what I mean? Or I can move anywhere in the world. My job is remote. I can move anywhere in the world, right? I can now move to Thailand. I can go back home. I can move my whole family to a certain place. They're gonna have money for the first time ever, a lot of these guys, and for them to have this unlock, this might be something, you know. But the problem is, right? Like, what happens if you know, we don't get a Q4? I'm kind of the longer we have to sit here in September and just be big nothing burgers, the more I'm kind of thinking that maybe, you know, we have a good December, and then, you know, maybe Q1 of next year is the big month, right? Maybe we do a type of 2017 model where, you know, we don't really have an alt season until January, and you know, if that happens, can a lot of these guys withstand, you know, just becoming millionaires for the first time and not selling their token? I'm not saying this token's going to like $20-$30, but if it goes to, let's just say 65, and can, you know, the sell pressure outweigh the buy pressure? Will this kind of be sideways? Well, and that's something that happens a lot too in crypto. The stuff that ran before the bull market normally doesn't run as hard as everything else, right? Maybe Arthur Hayes is like, you know what? I've made, you know, 4 or 5x in Hyperliquid. Let me move this to Aster when I can make another 4 or 5x.
So that's where I think is another option as well. Like, you know, Aster could just take the mind share, you know, away from Hyperliquid, and he just wants to make that easy 4 or 5x. We talked about that too. You know, the people that do things in size, they want a 4, 5, maybe 10x is they're really happy with those type of gains.
10x
right?
is ecstatic.
Yeah, but like 4 or 5, they're really happy with that as well. And so, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. You know, you got something that I don't think many people expected this to happen like this. You did call that Hyperliquid would get, you know, attacked at some point. Is this what you mean by that, by the way, or do you think it's going to be more malicious on a more malicious level?
It's going to be a tech attack, in my opinion. It's going to be something very malicious in the sense of, you know, a broad range of attacks that happen over a course of a small period of time, right? Like, to where it's like, oh wow, Hyperliquid attacked again. I think that's going to be something that we talk about, and I don't want it to happen. It's just one of those things where it's just too many people with too much money, and there's like vulnerable people on that use these exchanges because of the fact that, like we said, you can see everyone's targets, right? You can see everyone's TPs, everyone's take profits. You can see their where they are everywhere, and I don't think the exchanges want that, right? I think the exchanges want these dark pools and stuff like that to happen, but we do know right now that the dark pools are very centralized. There's no way around that until we get some ZK, you know, innovation and stuff like that. I do think that comes, but I don't think it comes, you know, in the next like 2 years. I think it's something that comes in the next 4 or 5 years. But we'll see. It really depends. But like, I do think that these exchanges, they can do whatever they want, and we're kind of seeing that right now as they take down Bitcoin when they want to. They just give it to Wintermute, and Wintermute does the, you know, they probably put a short in on a Hyperliquid, right? And let Wintermute do their thing, and they just make money over money. So
yeah. Well, if Hyperliquid gets attacked from a tech standpoint, then Aster is going to be very similar in the way that it works from a mechanism standpoint. I believe you deposit through BNB, right? And so they did announce that they're going to have their own chain very soon. And that's one thing I think Hyperliquid hasn't done a great job about, is really you know, promoting their chain and getting users on the chain side. The app, obviously, they've done an amazing job with that. But the actual applications outside of the Perps and leverage DEX, and I know people use it, but it's not like this super heavily used chain. And I don't know if Asters will be either, but they did announce that they're going to be having their own chain soon.
Well, the big difference between Hyperliquid and Aster is Aster has CZ behind them. They have Binance behind them, right? In the sense of they've unlimited money. They've unlimited money to back the exchange. Anything happens, they can fix it before the news even hits the market. They just have so much unlimited capital that they can withstand, you know, $1 billion attack without anyone noticing. Can Hyperliquid? I don't think so. I think Jeff, a lot of his wealth is in the hype token, right? I think a lot of their wealth over there, they're probably all billionaires now, but they're probably billionaires on paper because they can't sell their tokens, right? They are making fees hand over fist, but it does seem like they're just buying back the hype token. But what happens if that hype token gets really hammered to the sense that they don't have enough money on top of the exchange getting attacked?
Yeah, I think they have enough, you know, a treasure chest to kind of a war chest, I should say, to protect themselves and things. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if Aster is an actual CZ product, I mean, you know, he's only shielded 3 tokens, right? BNB, Bitcoin, and now Aster. So there has to be some sort of close connection, but there hasn't been a public statement that they're owned by Binance or anything like that, right?
Well, they're owned by YZ Lab. YZ Labs has 60%, I think, of the tokens.
That's the incubator.
Yeah,
that's the incubator through Binance Labs. Okay. Yeah. So in that sense, you know, they most likely would come to their rescue.
Well, YZ Labs was Binance Labs, renamed to YZ
Gotcha.
Labs.
Gotcha. So
that
so
should tell you enough right there.
Yeah, 60% backing. Yeah, I mean, I guess like
they put up
60%.
$90 million to fund this. It's basically this is a CZ project, right? They put up $90 million. So a lot of that money is the liquidity that started the chain. Because like that's one reason why a lot of these perp dexes aren't successful, because they don't have enough liquidity to cover. You need a lot of liquidity to make sure the fees are cheap and all that stuff. So that 90 million, that the initial investment, a lot of it went to the liquidity on the exchange itself.
Yeah,
but $90 million.
That's a lot. That's a lot. But Hyperliquid is a giant in themselves. Maybe not as big of a giant, but they're still there. And one thing too, the back and forth between at least the media has been asking Jeff, the founder of Hyperliquid, how he feels about the competition heating up and how Perp's dexes are kind of talking about Hyperliquid in this sense or the other. He answered it perfectly, calmly, and he said, he's happy about the growth in the space, but Hyperliquid is focused on Hyperliquid themselves, and that's how they are going to continually grow and have success, which I think was perfect. And he seems that personality, that type of personality type that really doesn't want any extra drama, just wants to build something great and continually have it grow organically.
You have to remember too, there's one thing missing from a lot of these on-chain dexes, right? And that is KYC. Who wants KYC? Well, they want to make sure you're paying your taxes, right? So you're not even thinking about the governments wanting to tax something like this, because now they're, they have no way of tracking, who is making money, right? Especially when you're able to pay with stuff with your debit card and that is connected to your wallet, right? They're going to have no idea how much money you actually have, and they're not going to like that. So Hyperliquid is actually fixing one of the pain points that a government like the US could do, and that's freeze the USDC on the exchange, right? They could have Circle say, hey, freeze all that USDC there, and then they're done. Hyperliquid that could be one of the attacks, because if that USDC is frozen, there's no way on the actual Hyperliquid itself, it's going to trade normally, because it's just it's just a bridge to an asset. But withdrawing it would be impossible. It would be frozen on there, so you could not withdraw that USDC. But you have something like USDH, which is kind of my thinking behind the reason for it and why they chose native markets, because they've gone live with USDH USDC pair. Now available, early trading volume around $2.2 million. So you are seeing a lot of people now converting their USDC into USDH through this pool, and you see a lot of people earning a lot of yield. I think the yield's like 14% right now for a USDH USDC pool. So pretty awesome there. You're getting crazy yield on stablecoins, but not just that. They're kind of protecting themselves in that aspect of, if the US does choose to freeze that USDC there, because we've seen it happen before. I mean, but that's a pain point that they have to solve, and it does feel like they solved it here.
Yeah, but both of them would be in the sights of governments, though, not just one, right? Because both of them have that approach of no KYC.
That's the thing. So the native markets, what do you mean?
Aster and Hyperliquid would be in the sights of governments because both of them have no KYC, right?
Yes, yeah, but I think the difference though is where they're kind of based, right? I think this isn't. I don't think you're seeing Hyperliquid in Singapore, and you don't even know where Aster is. Like Aster is. It's you don't know where
Malta,
it's at, right? Because
island of Malta.
It could be, but it's going to be easier to kind of where something is headquartered at in Singapore, it could be a little bit more easier to kind of freeze their USDC rather than go after something like and I do think that they're going to have to get away from USDC too as well. I think you're going to have to you're going to see
there's a main
potentially them have
person.
their own stablecoin.
There's a main person to kind of go after though on that side though too, like with CZ being so connected with it. And yes, you have the founder of Hyperliquid and Jeff. He's starting to grow his fame a bit.
He's just an investor at the end of the day. I mean, you can't really go after the investors for what the product is doing.
My point is they're both in that same bucket. So and to your point, Hyperliquid made a good move by adding USDH to kind of at least mitigate that future problem if it arises.
So you saw a move by Hyperliquid, and then Aster comes out with their own move. Trust Wallet. Perps are now coming soon to Trust Wallet. 100+ markets, up to 100x leverage, all through Aster DEX. So Trust Wallet to set a partnership with Aster to let you do any type of perp trading through their wallet.
I haven't heard Trust Wallet in a very long time, but it was one of my first wallets that I actually downloaded because
mine too.
It was the only one that I could use at the time for BNB. And so this follows the Binance play, right? Partner with Trust Wallet. I think Hyperliquid has the lead here though, because they've already partnered with Phantom and MetaMask to make perps available, right? So they have the lead here. Trust Wallet, probably a huge user base in Asia, and it could, some in the Western world too, because it was one of the earlier wallets. Let's see how many. The one thing I'm really looking at right now is to see like how CZ and Binance makes their move into the Western world, because they've dominated the entire industry with pretty much dominating Europe and Asia, not having too much dominance over here. So it's going to be interesting to see, more people download Trust Wallet in America, and the regulators are friendly to Binance and stuff like that. If that happens, Binance could really, really take over.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it could get pretty crazy in the sense of Binance just being one of the leaders. I mean, it's already been a leader, right? It's been the leader, and they've taken down all their competitors, right? Except Coinbase at this point, and they've partnered with all the other exchanges that do not They were the first one to send ETH to what was that one that got hacked?
What
that exchange that got hacked? I forget what that was called.
Exchange got hacked.
Remember?
Oh,
the
Ethereum?
No.
Way
earlier. I mean, this year. Yeah, one of the Bybit. So, and you see that type of partnership makes me think that they're together, right? You don't do that unless you have a partnership with them. So, according to Financial Times, Binance founder CZ's 10 billion investment in the YZI Labs is considering opening to external investors and may convert into a public fund. CZ responded on X that Financial Times calling it false and clarifying that YZI Labs has not raised an external funds, has never prepared for any type of funding raise. Why do you think this is even rumored in the first place if it's bullshit? And Financial Times isn't somebody who comes out with fake news. Obviously they didn't run this by CZ before they put it out, but YZI Labs, $10 billion fund. Like I said, they have 90 million in Aster alone. Of that 10 billion, it's just kind of like do they even need funding? Like I don't get why this was even a thing. And on top of that, like why do you think Financial Times would put this out and then CZ coming out and calling it false?
I mean, it could be just someone reporting something that they speculated instead of got confirmation on. That happens from time to time, right? Secondly, I think CZ's flexing here and saying we don't need no money. We have tons of it, right? So that does show a bit of a flex here. If that's true, $9 billion, that's just being kind of set aside for an incubator. That's the best incubator to be a part of.
They have investments in, so it's a 10 billion altogether in all the investments. Right, so they have a couple billion in that. Remember that TAL thing that they had? It was like a TAL bridge and stuff like that. Yeah, that's one of them as well. But they have about $10 billion worth of investments. I mean, a lot of companies that we know that are out have some type of investment from YZI Labs.
Yeah, but I think YZI Labs, is a great incubator. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's weird, right? You have incubators, and then you have the pre-accelerators, and then you have these other, you know what I mean? and Bitcoin, you have BTC Startup Lab, which is kind of like a camp. So like it seems like YZ Labs is really just a one-stop shop to go to. It's kind of like that late stage, I guess. But man, 9 to 10 billion. So imagine investing that much into these projects that you feel have strong potential, and then you go down the 10 to 20 years down the road, that 9 billion probably multiplies by a ton, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. And this is the top YZI Labs portfolio by market cap. You see Sui, Athena, Aptos, Injective, Celestia, Curve, Pancakes. I mean, this is the Alameda of Binance, right? This is Binance's version of Alameda and stuff like that. So it has, stuff from 2021, Ronin, Arcom. I mean, they have pretty much everything in this fund. Like, so it's like this is one of the biggest, probably the biggest funds out there. I mean, Moonbeam and Kyber, and it just goes. Coin 99 is even in there, right? They've invested in that. They pretty much invested in everything. Treehouse. I mean, this is one of the biggest, probably one of the biggest funds in the world. When you take a market cap of altogether, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, they are ruling the world right now.
100%.
All right, let's go to emerging sectors to bet on, right? So we're both really bullish on AI, especially with Agent Hustle, and then you got stuff like Banker, who's kind of running the base chain. RWA, it's like Courtyard, Gotcha, and Ondo. I used to be really bullish on Courtyard until I tried to withdraw my money, and they asked for my social security number, and I was like, F this, screwy Courtyard, I'll never use them again. But then you got something like Gotcha, who's doing really well, and Ondo as well. And then DeFi, you got Willfi, Aster, and Hyperliquid, right? So what do you think is the top emerging sectors to bet on?
I mean, I might be a little bit biased here, but I think the RWA space is just not really focused on enough. I know that like people are like, well, you're already talking about like, the Pokemon and Gacha has been huge and all these things, but yeah, but it's just Gacha, and Pokemon is just like one part of it, right? One little part of it. There's so much of a larger potential for that space from like the lower end assets, and I consider like if you think about it, like you have like these collectibles or these collectibles, and then you go over to these other class of real world assets that are more like financial instruments or products, right, as well. So like it stretches from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it's just not talked about enough. But I get why, and it's because our space has always had a very short-term mindset in terms of whenever things are hyped up. And so that's why they're constantly looking for what can I, 1000x right now? What can I? But this is an industry I think is going to have, eventually trillions of dollars flow into it. You know what I mean? Over the course of like the next 10 years or something, right? And 5 to 10 years. So I think RWA is the most overlooked, but I think that AI is probably going to have the most like near-term success. And I think it's because you have products like Agent Hustle, Banker, and other AI products that are actually doing the DeFi functionalities for you, right? From an institutional perspective, the DeFi will obviously thrive.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, right now, DeFi is brand new to TradFi, right? TradFi has never used decentralized finance before, and they're just kind of learning it. So, in order of what I think is going to be like huge, I think DeFi is going to be the absolute biggest win, because now they're kind of seeing, hey, I can make money by just buying USDC and buying USDT. Right? What are they? Stablecoins by two trusted companies, one being publicly traded and the other one being worth, $500 billion, right? Like they're taking investment out for that. So right now, these investors are saying, hey, I can take out, USDC and USDT, put it in a liquidity pool, and I can earn, some months I can earn 9%, some months I can earn 2%, right? Depending on the trading volume of that pair. And this is the first time in history that you've ever seen anything like this before. And not just that, I mean, they can do it multiple times. They can put a little bit in PYUSD, put a little bit into USD1. And these guys can make money off dollars for the first time ever with almost zero to no risk, because you're putting it in smart contracts. Yeah, I mean, but like nobody has really access to the smart contract except your wallet. So the only risk there would be your wallet, your actually PC or your wallet actually getting hacked. And if you're using a hardware device to do this type of stuff, there's almost no risk at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing too, I think the reason why people are kind of overlooking some of the RWA stuff real quick is because some of these don't have tokens too. So in their mindset, it's like, how do I even benefit from this, right? But you do see a lot of projects coming back now that, you know, MetaMask has been around forever, since the beginning really of DeFi. And, you know, they're just now announcing that they're going to have a token. So using it, using these platforms and getting involved and figuring out how you can farm. I think that's also just, and I think it has to do with laziness, because I'm a lazy person when it comes to that farming tokens. You seem to be really kind of focused in on that, but it's like, you know, that's an opportunity that I think a lot of people overlook too, right? Farming these type of projects that are going to be the future of the space, and once they do have a token, you'll benefit from that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just not seeing the I guess the same as you with the RWAs, because it's like Courtyard, right? Again, like I wouldn't want to get that token right now because of
Well,
the KYC and
they don't
stuff
have
like
a
that. But they don't
token, do they?
even if they did, if they had an airdrop or whatever, it's not something that I would, you know. And there's no investment there, right? So it's just like, and you're kind of looking down here, like we see Chintai, which I think is you know, they're building for, you know, and like Asia, they're building there, but like this is RWA category, and I don't really see no opportunity here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of like the Ondos and stuff like that. Like Ondo's not in the top; it was number 2, right? It's actually number 2 on that list.
Yeah.
But obviously, like that's a larger market cap, right? It's almost 3 billion.
Right.
But that's, I feel like this area is just getting kind of going, and some of these new like businesses or projects, they're being formed right now. So I think you got to pay attention to it, because I do think that this is going to be a big part of the future here. You know, because if you go to DeFi, like a lot of DeFi is not going to have opportunity either, right? It's going to be some of the legacy stuff that you know have always known about, like Aave and stuff like that. You know, maybe like if a new Perps DEX launches like Aster did, then, you know, someone asked, is Aster an opportunity still? I do think so. It's at 3 billion, 4 billion, and many people are saying 20. So you got like possibly like a 5x there. But yeah, you know, I guess if you're looking for short term, then you can get even more granular and go into like robotics and stuff like that, and try to like pick one of these winners that you can hit a 50x on, or 100x or something like that.
Well, I don't know, because like look at DeFi, right? You have Morpho. We do know that they were picked by Coinbase to do borrowing and lending. They're only a $500 million company. There's potentially a 30-40x in there, right? In the next coming 6 to 12 months. I mean, potentially. And then you have on top of that, you have like Sun token from Justin Sun, again,
Oh,
$500
I
million.
don't know about that one.
Well, I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of opportunity there, because we see let's just say that the Tron token moves up, you're going to see this thing's going to fly. You know, we can talk shit about Tron all we want, but Tron's been the biggest winner in this cycle. If you want to look at it by market cap and stuff like that, Tron's just been nonstop. Avantis, right? This is one of those leverage trading exchanges sitting there at $500 million, while you have stuff like, you know, Aster sitting at 3 billion. So it's like, and this one's on base. So I just think there's a lot more opportunity here. Fluid just got listed on Kraken today, sitting at $5 the Korean exchange, sitting at around $500 million. DYDX, you know, which is one of the originators, Maple Finance. I mean, these are all sitting at $500 million. I mean,
DYDX has been around forever, and it's like
the originators, though. Yeah,
they're okay with like their you know, pace of growth. They don't really, you know, care about that. But to your point about Sun token, I know I kind of, and I think that's like just the experience,
the Western, that's just the Western mindset.
Yeah, and the experience of previous cycles too. Because I mean, let's be honest, like he does have kind of a bad reputation with stuff like, you know, but at the end of the day, the one thing I will say is that the TVL has always been on point for his chain. And if there's going to be high TVL, then you're going to do DeFi stuff with it. They're focused on like a lot of stablecoin DeFi stuff. We heard that from some of the builders that have applied for grants there and stuff, you know, so that is something they're focused on. So yeah, I would say Sun token could be a decent opportunity, especially in a cycle that he'll probably try to pump the heck out of it too.
Exactly. You got stuff like Treehouse, right, which is doing liquid staking for ETH. I mean, I think liquid staking ETH is something that is truly unstoppable. I think once ETH, especially when ETH starts to grow, I don't know, man. I think DeFi right now. Like I'm really bullish on AI. I think AI is going to be amazing, but I think that this is TradFi's first time being able to play. And I think this whole entire sector is going to be used and utilized on a daily basis when it comes to stuff like compounds, for instance, right? So you get 400 million. Compounds, one of the originators of DeFi. I mean, one of the first projects. This thing got forked 5,000 times, and it's only sitting at 400 million. I think there's just so much opportunity right now for DeFi to kind of grow and move from here.
Yeah, I mean, Treehouse was sitting at what 375, and it's newer. And but it also goes to show like how like people haven't been focused on a lot of these Ethereum DeFi projects, but it shows the strength of Ethereum because Treehouse is new. We've met the team. They're they're not like one of these legacy DeFi projects there, and they're already at $375 million in terms of market cap. So it's there. Institutions probably will help pump those, but some of the legacy ones, I do think that they'll continually move at the rates that they always have. DYDX, that doesn't mean like sitting at 400 million doesn't mean it won't get to 600 million or 650 or even 800 million this cycle in the top. But that's okay if if you like that slower growth for the older ones. The new ones,
I think the older ones are battle tested. So the older ones are battle tested. So what's going to happen is a lot of these guys who are investing in ETH right now, they're going to look for ETH betas. So why wouldn't you go after something like Sky, formerly Maker? Why wouldn't you go after Compound and Aave? I think these ones have the most opportunity, honestly, because these guys want, they didn't trust Bitcoin for 15 years before they started trying to trust it. And I think they're going to want stuff with actual being battle tested. So I think you're a little wrong there. I think stuff like the older ones are going to be the ones more sought after because they have more chart to look at, more years without getting
proven.
hacked.
Yeah, but then they're about the same market cap as somebody that's newer. But I do think you're right partially on that point of these institutions trying to play it safe. They want to be able to work with stuff that has been battle tested. But there is going to be some that want maybe a little bit more on the upside, and they might dive into something that has momentum. Like, for example, Treehouse, I think could have momentum because they're new, they're young, they're kind of in the spotlight a little bit. So they're something that could push to $1 billion, but maybe the other like DYDX or I forgot the other one, Compound, that you mentioned before. They're something that is they'll feel safe with a 5-year trajectory, 5 to 10 year trajectory on it.
Yeah, and I think let's just say I think we both can agree like Aave can do a 5x in the next 4 years, and they'd be ecstatic with that, right? I think we especially if ETH gets to 10K and 18K like we think. I mean, Aave could do a 50x in the sense of next 4 years. Compound could do a 50x. So like saying these slow to us, it's not something where I would put my money, but even something like Yearn Finance, for instance, it's been around for a long time. It could be something that they start to get a little bit more risky with because it is battle tested. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I could be completely wrong with that, but I'm just thinking that these guys took 15 years before they got in Bitcoin, right? They're gonna want to get in stuff that's been around for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, in the Web 2 world, it worked out that way too. There was a lot of tech companies that were worth billions that many people haven't heard of, and it's just because they had been around and building for so long. And they were able to, over time, continually build their value up.
100%. All right, let's get into the crypto fear and greed here. It's bad. It's actually terrible. Last week 51, yesterday 40, a little lower than yesterday. I didn't even remember yesterday was 40, but we're in the 30s, the very, very high 30s, but we're in the 30s. Where do you think we are?
38.
Pretty much. 39. Oh my god, dude, this is terrible. I don't know. I was bitching about being neutral for like 3 weeks, and now we're sitting here in fear, and it's just like frustration, minimum frustration. But let's get away from that as fast as we can. Let's get into the crypto Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles. Brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, their pre-sale just finished about an hour ago. They absolutely killed it. Raised over $100,000, and this market is phenomenal. Definitely, guys, if you are interested in getting some ARA tokens, I think I know how. You just kind of go over here into Artura.finance, and you got to use the app. If you come in the first 3 spots, you are almost guaranteed some ARA. in that sense, they've already announced 20,000, is one of the prizes. So if you are interested in getting yourself some free ARA, there is a way for you. And you got to remember too, there's giving away $10,000 in USDC for anyone who wants to get in that first place, right? It's $5,000 for first place, second place, and third place will split the other 5,000. Or maybe it's the top 5. It's something like that. Maybe 1,000 for 2 to 5. I don't know, but you definitely want to get in the top 5 if you have not. I mean, this guy made one trade, guys. He made one trade and is in 5th place, probably walking away with $1,000. So you definitely want to be a part of this competition, and you guys can trade here at Artura.finance, make some trades, use some leverage, some small leverage, low money, just air farm that and have some fun. But definitely check out Artura.finance.
Absolutely. Those guys are crushing it. Congratulations to them on their IDO there. But before we get some Bitcoin price action, help us out. Smash that like on the YouTube side, and then make sure you're subscribed to the channel and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. Also on the X side, let's share the space. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Many people are at Korea Blockchain Week, but we are still here showing up every single day. And so we appreciate your help by sharing the space. And then on the abstract side as well, share that link for us. And then what is it? Kick, Twitter, Rumble, all the good stuff there. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Let's take a look at price action today. What's up, Sheedy? I see Sheedy in the chat. Welcome back, sir. Price action today. I thought we were going to have an easier day for price action, but it seems like it wants to mess with me. Perfect timing too, right? Whenever price action comes up. But it looks like we are losing the momentum that we had on the buy pressure side. So what happens here, guys? What happens here? Looks like the stochastic RSI does want to take us back below overbought territory. I'm not 100% bought in that we are going to just be heading back down just yet. We need to see this venture further down, maybe get to the 60-point mark first. The MACD is showing that the buy pressure is weakening. The fast line is no longer wanting to point up. It looks like it's starting to curl down here a bit, so we might take a little bit of a dive, maybe get back to 113, high 112s, but that's okay because we've gotten as low as 111 the past couple days here. So let's take a look at support and resistance here, guys. Going back to, what is that, 4 in the morning today. Yes. There we go. 5 in the morning today. All right, let's take a look here, guys. All right, at the 113 level. So support does seem to be dominating here. That is a good thing. You can see that it's dominating in this area at the 113.300, below as well. It gets rebalanced back at the 113.200 there. Then below that, we lose it to resistance, but then really balanced below that as well. So I feel okay where we are. Very low volume, thin liquidity. So, push back up here. Maybe we can regain this buy pressure and then continue on our journey. So we need to see what happens here for the next hour, 2 hours to 3 hours, and then we can see if we continue on or if we're going to pull back down below 113. 4 hour looks decent. It looks decent. We just started the buy pressure on the MACD, so that is at least somewhat of a good sign, right? We're no longer in this complete bloody mess that we've been in since you go back to the 13th. We really haven't had too much of a breather except for this middle section here, but it looks like the momentum on the 4 hour at least is starting to pop back up. Does this continue? Do we just go sideways? We will know here in the next, I would say probably 16 hours. Give us, the rest of today to kind of figure out if this 4 hour chart is going to lead us back to the upward trajectory there. You can see on the daily chart, the sell pressure, it's not extremely strong. These candles are a little bit smaller. So let's see if we can get out of it. Let's see if it's just a little blip of this sell pressure and then we go back into buy pressure. But that is what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Ethereum on the hour chart, this looks weak for the buy pressure here. Seems like it wants to go back down. This, look at the VRVP here on the hour, just looks horrible. Like no volume in this area at all. Going from like 4,450 all the way to 4,230, like no volume up here. The areas that we do have volume though, seems to be kind of dominated a little bit by the resistance, right? So would not be shocked if we come out of this cleanly, and for the hour chart at least, and we start to sell down a bit more. Maybe we get back down close to 4,000. All right, let's take a look here at the 4 hour really quick. And See if there's any hope in the 4-hour chart. Not really, just a little bit of weak, very, very weak buy pressure for Ethereum on the 4-hour. In the daily looks like it's very strong for the sell side. So that is Ethereum for you guys and Bitcoin. Crypto bubbles look okay, though. If you look at the, well, that just changed on me very, very quickly. Going back to the daily here, though, let's check here in the top 100. It's crazy because, like, whenever we first started working, getting into show prep, most of this was green. You can see Hyperliquid's taking a bit of a hit here, pulling back 4%, while Aster continues its journey to the upside. You can see it pulling up here about 16%. Story Protocol on that Zuki partnership news, maybe pulling up about 4.5% there. Some notables that did pull back along with Hyperliquid. Chronos pulling back almost 5%. Aerodrome pulling back about 2% there. And you see some other stuff that is thriving a little bit. Pump Fund back up 5%. Wolfi up 2% there. Looking at the top 200, let's see, Merlin Chain pulling back about 5%. You know, sitting at that 31 cents there. So it has had a really great 2 weeks, but it is pulling back. People are taking a little bit of profit there. You see the SNEC token, the largest community on Cardano, up for 2.4% there. And then that news with Fluid being listed on Bybit is pulled it up 31%. Big news there for Fluid there. Barachain up 6.6%. You got the FTX token, I guess, because SBF tweeted from jail through his friend. People got excited and they started buying FTT. That is crypto Twitter for you guys, wrapped up in a bow. But yeah, that is what I'm seeing for the top 200. Anything in the top 300? Hemi is starting to, get in the headlines here. And that's why I mentioned a little bit about the Bitcoin layer 2s, because it seems like, well, you have a couple, right? Hemi, Merlin, that are really kind of thriving the past week or so. We'll see if any others pick up and join the party. Spark doesn't have their own token, so we won't know that. But once they go live, it could bring some energy to the Bitcoin layer 2 ecosystem as well. We'll see if Stacks too. See where Stacks is right now. But you can see Dog pulling back there 5% on the day. Stacks is up. It's up. It's ranked 81. It's up to 60 cents. So for the day though, it's down 0.7% there. It just moved up one rank. But yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on the Bitcoin layer 2s as well. But that's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and these crypto bubbles for you guys.
Yep. Great job of that on that, man. Let's jump over to some roll call and see the comments. On this show, we do a thing called First is First, and I take your name and I put it on a spreadsheet, and we mark you guys down for the winner. And today's winner, I didn't even look, so it's going to be news to me. It's Tim Baker. Shout out to Tim Bake. His 2 wins in a row today this week. Shout out to Tim Baker. You have your 13th win, 12th and 13th win this week. Congratulations to you, my friend. Yeah, man. And we have my guy, Buenos Ideas, always here. He said, got here early. Green candles win. TK to the moon. Buenos Ideas again. Like Luki says, GM, TK. ASAP Benji is here. Shout out to ASAP Benji. Bitcoin is truth, my guy. Abstract says, abstract NFTs will lead all. Yeah, maybe. I don't. We'll see. Chips and Dip is here. The Tuesday night giveaways are dope. Yes, congratulations to everyone who won on that giveaway last night. I think it's like two $400 wins from Mr. Sheedy and Chips and Dip. So congratulations to both you guys. K99 is here. Spindrift is here. Shout out to Spindrift. Mats. Tim Baker says Shizzy has been talking about someone taking out Hyperliquid for a long time. It's a good call. Yeah, I think it does happen. I think that, I just think that it'll be, a mafia style hit too. I don't think it's going to be anything clean. I think it's going to be very manipulated in the sense of when it does happen. I think it does lead the bear market potentially, but we'll see. I could be wrong. Glasshopper is here. Joko is here. Make Bitcoin Fun Again is here. Dogs on Air is here. Shout out to you guys. And just so you guys know, I am taking down everyone who puts TK in the chat. I'm going to put you guys all on a wheel. Every single day, you guys have a chance to win. I'm going to put it all on the wheel one time, and then I'm going to pick a couple winners on Friday. So definitely tune in for that. I'll have the wheel ready. And then we got Remy U is here. Cindy Blue said, what chain are we on today, boys? I think we're we're off chain today. I don't. There's nothing happening on chain right now for anything, right? I mean, have you done anything on chain? I mean, besides Artura?
Testing stuff. That's it.
Yeah, that's basically. Yeah, I haven't done anything on chain in months. Sad time. Toast is shout out to Toast, my guy. Stan says, if CZ has a stake in Hype as reported, Aster for the W? Well, it's not CZ directly. It's just apparently it's wallets, that have connection with Binance and CZ or CZ. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think just separate them. Aster's winning in their own right now. So I don't think I think getting away from the hype versus Aster is probably the best bet, because you want to look at those individually. If you start to see legitimate consistent cracks in Hyperliquid, then maybe you question and say, is this because of Aster? But as of right now, Aster's winning and Hyper's still winning. In my opinion, yes, they're down 3.8% right now. Or 4%, but they still are demanding a ton of volume. So
100%. Cindy Blue is here. Shout out to Cindy Blue. Thanks all folks. Stan says, is it too late to jump in on Aster? $2? I don't think so. I think this goes for $10-15. Yeah. I mean, well, I think you should do a DCA. I don't think you should get into it like your whole amount that you want to say. You want to do $1,000. I would do 200 today, 200 maybe on Friday, 200 next week, and so on, right? Every 4 or 5 days. I wouldn't go all in at one time with your whole stack. Stan says CZ is known as a FDIC for his picks, which is a W. FDIC?
Like a safety kind of net.
Gotcha.
For his picks. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. He's only talked about 3 tokens, and all 3 of those are Aster's new, but it's already in the top, 650 or something like that?
It's on the first page for sure. John says, abstract. What are abstract NFTs? We can get into that if you guys want. I've been looking at that area. Cash Cats is here with coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats, my guy. Appreciate you, man, every single day. Cheaty is here. Shout out to Cheaty. Murs here. Rick G said, long live OnChain Revolutions. TK to the moon. Yes, sir, Rick G. Appreciate you, my friend. Cheaty says, I'm all good, Yag. I am always deeply grateful for the consistency of the team brings to the ecosystem. Thank you so much, my friend. GD, always awesome. So that's Stan. Aster is still early, but for 5x.
Yep. That's pretty much what you were saying. Yeah.
10 to 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paulie says, market is stretched thin. Utility coins are back. Yeah. I mean, technically, for sure. Cheaty says TK. Cash Cat's got TK. Chief Axel, my guy. We got it. I love your streams. Let's grab it. And thank you. And then GD is here. He's with okay. Insurance deposit. Yep, 100%. Appreciate every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day.
Yep. I think so. Stan, I think he's going to be right on time for that 30-minute.
12:30.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Powell, he actually spoke yesterday. He warns of a lot of different things. He's still really worried about the job market. I mean, I thought he was going to come out yesterday and be very, very hawkish, but he actually came out and was very dovish. So yesterday he says he warns job market is weakening after first rate cut in 9 months. Bowman echoes that as well. Growth moderating, hiring slowly, unemployment ending and edging up. Futures price in October, November equal, they're basically going to cut, and Fed leaning jobs over inflation. This is kind of what the notes were from his yearly meeting that he has every year, and kind of goes over the financial situation that's going on with the U.S. And like I said, I thought he was going to be very, very hawkish, but he was dovish. How do you feel about Powell still being very dovish for us?
Yeah, well, I mean, even besides the job market situation, he mentioned how the tariffs are being picked up by 2 different entities, which is the reason why it's not being passed down to the consumer. And he's saying basically the importers and the manufacturers are picking it up, kind of splitting it, I guess. And so, that one-time consumer effect is what they said that, this is what we're experiencing, and that's it. So it seems like, they want to get the labor market back in the right trajectory, and to do that you got to cut rates, right? So I do expect the October and what is it, December, are the last two
Yep.
to happen.
October 29th, December 10th. We are still 34 days away from this one, but it's looking pretty good. 87% chance of a cut. Was this in the 90s yesterday? I can't remember.
For October,
yeah.
I want to say it was like high 80s.
89. Yeah, I think so too. But still, 87 is still pretty good. No changes at 13, and then 25 plus. I don't know who would bet on this. Like, why would you put any? There's $10,000 in no, 10 million.
No, it's 10,000. That's a period after the zero, so it's 10,000.
It looks like 10 million.
Is it?
But yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Because it looks exactly the same one.
Oh, it does look like a comma. It does look like a comma.
So who the hell is putting $10 million into that? I don't know.
Well, 1% chance.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right, let's move along though. Okay, so this man fooled the world, I guess you could say, but he was his name is what is that?
Robert Paulson.
No, it's definitely not Robert Paulson. Robert Paulson's a good guy. This guy's an asshole. Robert Paulson's Meatloaf. We love Meatloaf here on the show. But let me jump into it. So, okay, Dennis Porter is the guy's name. He put out this tweet last week on the 20th, and he says, 4 days ago, massive political news coming for Bitcoin Tuesday that will reshape the trajectory of Bitcoin politics. This will be a defining moment. Let's jump to Tuesday, and it's one of his friends, his Bitcoin native guy. His name's Ian Cauldron, announces bid for governor. He has a 1% chance of winning that governor role because he's running as a Republican. And Republicans just do not get voted in California. So everyone, the whole world was thinking this was going to be huge news. We kept hearing, a Bitcoin reserve. This is going to be good. Trump was speaking on Tuesday, which made it even more to think that it was going to be like that. And he, engagement farmed the entire ecosystem, me included, because I was looking at his tweets, and he did really good. He got over 30,000 new followers in the last 4 days, and just to kind of piss them all off, he lost 2,000 followers in the last day, though. So a lot of people were just like, "Screw this guy." But he's a co-founder of Satoshi Act Fund. He basically gives a lot of money to people who run for political positions, and this is one of the guys that they're funding. We should have known it was something like this. But what do you think about this fraud of an announcement?
So where are you getting the 1% chance of winning from? The poly market, or is it like
Republicans don't win in California?
Yeah, well, there's districts where they win. There's
not governor. Not governor.
Oh, he's running for governor.
He's running for governor.
That's
what I mean. Like it got to be lower than a 1% chance, right? Like when was the last time California had a Democratic governor? Like I don't know.
Okay, so there have been
or
people
Republican governor.
There have been people that have said that if there ever was a chance for it to flip again, because you got to remember who was a last Republican governor. It was Reagan, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, Arnold Schwarzenegger's he's a Republican. He was a governor. I don't think so.
He's Democrat.
I'm pretty sure he was a Republican there.
I'd be shocked because he is liberal.
Yeah. No, he's not liberal. He was anti-Trump, so he's a Republican. Well, like you could see, Coach Katz. He might have changed to independent, but he definitely was a Republican when he was governor there. But that's also like, when was that? That was in, I think, 2003 to 2011. So that was actually more recently than I thought for a Republican governor to be there, because I think the last Democratic governor for Texas was Ann Richards, and that was in the 80s.
Yeah,
So
you're right, dude. He had 8 years Republican
yeah,
governor.
yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of areas there that are Republican, but I would say in today's climate, it's extremely tough, you know, because also, you know, when you're governor, you control how the voting and all that stuff works, right? So I'm not saying cheating, but I'm saying, you know, we'll see.
Yeah. So he seems like a
But
nice guy. He's super young. He looks like he's like 30, if that. Like, so I don't know.
yeah,
It's
I
just
think
something
that was
weird.
I think that was pretty, like, you know, uh, it
What?
was definitely like a huge letdown because like it became to the point to where like all these huge accounts were saying Tuesday's going to be huge, Tuesday's going to be huge, so they're probably not happy with them too because you know they knew
Yeah.
you know so maybe they think that you know he has somewhat of a chance because Wendy O's from California.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's any chance in hell this guy wins, but
Well,
I hope so.
it didn't do anything for the markets, that's for sure.
No, nothing at all. The markets didn't even flinch at this. But yeah, he's not even. We'll look at poly markets tomorrow, but I can't imagine he's even in the race over there. We'll see. BNB Chain validators are proposing to cut gas from 0.1 to 0.05 Gwei and shorten block in intervals from 750 ms to 450 s, dropping fees to about 0.005. So right now, the fees on BNB are absolutely insane because the chain is being utilized in so many different ways, especially for Aster, and it's getting congested, very similar to how Ethereum was. But you know, it equivalent. They said that I looked into it, a $40 fee on BNB, which is what was happening here and there, was equivalent to a $400 fee on Ethereum, right? Because of the thing, so they want to basically drop this down super low to kind of do this. But the problem is now you kind of have security issues now, right? That's the reason why Vitalik doesn't want to do that for Ethereum. He wants Ethereum to kind of stay slow, and that is why Bitcoin's so slow. 10-minute blocks is because it is the #1 security measure out there. But what do you think, though? BNB going faster and potentially bigger blocks as well to compete with Solana.
I think if anything happens, they'll be able to like cover it up and fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think they're worried about that part. So you know, I think it's probably going to satisfy the users, you know, because their governance or however their governance works or whatever, they're probably very, very different than Bitcoin in terms of how they vote and their mentality and approach to things. BNB governance people are probably all about how can we increase the value of BNB and make it a better, you know, look better and feel better, all that stuff. So I think that this will just get pushed through.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure. I mean, it does. BNB stakers are the ones who are voting on this, so they got to do what's best for the token. So we'll see if they push this through. Tether aims for a 500 billion valuation, raising 15 to 20 billion via private placement, selling 3% of the equity stake. Cantor Fitzgerald is advising. We do know that Cantor Fitzgerald, CEO or former CEO, is Trump's #1 advisor when it comes to this. So it was very smart for Tether to pick him and pick Cantor Fitzgerald to be the advisors on this. But what do you think? Tether, $500 billion private evaluation sounds insane to me.
So how does this work? Because what are they trying to? I guess are they trying to have like private shares or?
Yeah, well, every company has stock, right? And you can you have to be an accredited investor to be able to take it. For instance, like when we talk about SpaceX, like you can trade shares of SpaceX, right? But it's in a private way,
Oh,
but not
so that's what
public.
they're doing.
So yeah, very similar to that. They want to raise 15 to 20 million dollars, potentially for Plasma. So Plasma is their chain. 15 to 20 billion dollars. Plasma is their chain, and we're hearing that potentially they're going to use this money to kind of add TVL, total value lock, to their chain and stuff like that. So that's the reason why they want to raise this money, so they can actually push Plasma up there, you know, and potentially push their new token as well. And their new token is a stable coin and a US backed based stable coin as well. So that's what kind of this money they're kind of trying to get to do that because they don't want to use their own funds, because a lot of their funds I'm hearing is locked up in Bitcoin and in treasuries and in other places, and this is kind of their way of getting a little liquid so they're able to do other things.
They're gonna have to open some books up though, right? And so to show like at least they have like a certain percentage of value of that.
No,
right?
not when you're private. No, I mean you'll have to do it to the investor. You'll have to if the investor wants to, the investment group or the investment person. Let's just say if BlackRock wanted to get a piece of this, BlackRock would, they probably have to show the books, but it wouldn't be public.
Yeah. It wouldn't be public, but it would kind of let some of these big players see the insides a little bit. But like, I mean, because for them to shoot for $500 billion, I think that's a statement in them, them saying, hey, look, like this is something that we can easily, cover or whatever. Like, we feel like this is something we're at least valued at. So I think that's big, right? Raising 15 to 20 billion, that's going to be interesting to see the product that they pour that into as well, right? I wonder if they're going to kind of collateralize the US stablecoin too with some of that, because you can back stablecoins that are in the Genius Act by USD or Treasury bonds, which they own a lot of those, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm kind of looking at the companies by market cap. You've seen NVIDIA at 4.1 trillion, which is 8 times bigger than that, right? Microsoft at 3.7, Apple at 3.12, Amazon at 2.4. So they're not pushing up that high, but they're kind of they're in the top. They'll be in the top I think top 30 or top 20. They'll be up there with OpenAI. Do you think that Tether should be valued where OpenAI is valued?
I don't know. That's hard to answer because I'm sure there's all types of like research that they use for speculating future valuation as well. But from a kind of right now valuation, I would imagine Tether's like definitely competitive with those top companies. Not obviously not NVIDIA maybe, but I wouldn't be shocked, man, if they like really did open up their books, like how much value they would have. AI though, I feel like it's probably a little bit more attractive. I don't know, man. This is a hard one, right? Because you're talking about OpenAI that is leading, it's the leading AI company.
Every day.
yeah, it's the leading AI company. So I consider OpenAI very similar to Google in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like people were using search every single day back then to help them, with life. And that's what people are using OpenAI for right now. So if you look at the trajectory of growth with Google, it's probably something that you can expect, maybe even more aggressive for OpenAI, because it's going to do even so much more. But with something like Tether, it's just hard assets that back everything.
Yeah.
So you feel good about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, Tether makes out huge. Let me ask you this then: if I let you invest in one private company, would that be OpenAI? Would that be SpaceX? Or would that be Tether?
Honestly, it'd probably be OpenAI.
Yeah, I think I'd choose the same.
Yeah, just because like I can envision like them being integrated into everything at some point.
Yep.
And it's going to be like Amazon and Google, to where like, Amazon has Alexa and Google, but like that is such a like caveman like comparison, right? Because like it's going to be so intertwined with everything, but you'll have more of like the Google AI. Then I don't know where XAI is going to go, because it might venture more into like entertainment because they have this platform. But like OpenAI, I can see integrated into many, many things, software, 100%. Just like everyday stuff. So
they've already done partnerships with Microsoft, right? There's apparently there's a lot of games that are building with OpenAI right now using ChatGPT and a lot of the online characters. We're hearing that The Witcher, that is one of the most anticipated games, will have NPCs that are ChatGPT. Not all NPCs, but there will be a few in there in the game where you can interact with, and they're actually intelligent NPCs, which could be pretty nuts. Think about that in game, just gaming wise. ChatGPT could be $1 trillion asset just in the gaming ecosystem of every game needing to plug this into thousands of different characters.
Yeah, and imagine like your NPC character just constantly just getting better at like getting to know you. You know what I mean? That those type of situations. So future is going to be very interesting. Maybe fun, but also scary.
I don't know. I don't think it's scary at all. I love it because like I play a lot of like RPG games, right? And you get lost. So the biggest problem in RPG games, role playing games, is you don't know what to do next. It's like you ran here, you can't do this way, you can't go this. You don't know what the next thing to do. Imagine just going up to a random NPC character and be like, hey, like I'm lost. Like what do I do? And that NPC kind of walking you through, well, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Okay, this is what you have to do. Like that would be huge. That would be absolutely huge.
That, like, how would you, I guess, win?
Just like you would in your real life. Like let's just say you're in a town, you don't have a cell phone, right? And you need help directions, they can actually direct you.
Yeah, but would you get like if there was like a competition in that game, would you get less points because you had to use help? Or
I'm talking about role playing games where it's just you versus environment, player versus environment.
So it's just basically the experience then.
Yeah. Like I don't for MMO, maybe it could be different, right? Because you don't want people taking advantage and stuff like that. So it might be harder to put in mass multiplayer games like World of Warcraft, like that.
Sports games though too. Like imagine like it having the tendencies of like I don't know, like Patrick Mahomes or like a player or like this lineman, struggles with this one thing. Like the Eagles will have the tush push, and you can actually see like that offensive lineman go first a little bit. Not kidding, but
yeah, no,
you know
it happens.
But I mean, we can see that, right? It's all about the experience. If you make that better.
100%, and I think AI is going to be doing that. Or imagine the refs, like they're if you keep doing something and they can actually change up the game, they can actually start calling the penalty. Because like there's always been, like even in Madden, there's always been little ways to kind of get around. Like when I used to do like kickoffs, right? I knew how to block the field goal because there's like one spot, it was a glitch in the game where I could burst through and always block the field goal. I think it was like Madden, like I don't know, 12 or 13. I could block it every time. But imagine them being able to fix it, in the game without developers having to change the code, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Or if you could talk to the refs, then you could be like, "Hey, ref, he's holding me every single time."
No. Yep. And then maybe the ref starts looking for the hole or something.
I think we're going pretty far into this.
Well, I'm just saying this. I mean, I think this is 4 years away. I really do. I think AI is just something that is it's not going away.
Well, how will crypto AI play into that though? I guess you could have hustle integrated. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Trade my token. I don't know.
That's where we stop.
Well, I don't know because then let's just say like World of Warcraft, you have a digital currency, right? And you say, hey, like you know what I mean, like go sell my sword for $56, right, or whatever, right? And then you don't even got to do the marketplace thing anymore. The AI will actually just take it for you and put it on the marketplace for you and stuff like that. So I think it would make it easier, a lot of the stuff for digital aspects, and especially everyone's saying that GTA is going to have the Rockstar token, and you're going to be able to earn in the game. And let's just say like you don't have a lot of time, and some kid is out there and he's just grinding, right? But he's just making cars. He's stealing cars and just fixing them up and selling them. I mean, that kid could potentially automate that with AI and stuff like that. So that could be pretty cool to see in the future as well. Kind of seeing how AI and in these new ecosystems like Rockstar and stuff like that. We'll see what happens with that. So. OKX built a perp DEX, but never launched it. CEO XU says regulatory fears, especially CFTC 2020 crackdown on Deribit or Deridex, Open, and 0x forced the pause. What do you think about this? And do you think OKX now launches this? They said they already built it. They're ready to go. It'll be on the OKX chain, which is the OKB chain, I think it's called, or something. But what do you think? Could OKX throw their hat in the ring and get in the perp DEX war?
I mean, it seems like every centralized exchange is going to probably be doing this because it's a way to still kind of be really connected to the on-chain. I think they're doing this because they realize like on-chain is the future too. You know what I mean? And they'll always have business with like the institutions that want them to custody whatever, like Coinbase, I think will have the most business for that. Maybe Binance gets into some of that with the Hong Kong market, but retail is going to be mostly on chain, and I think they're all preparing for that, which is a good thing for us, right? Because like we envision liquidity to come on chain more and more with time. But why didn't they launch this before? Because they said they were worried about regulatory situations and all these things, and it seems like Aster is like one of those things that just pushed it over for them. You know, they'll compete in their own way.
Do you think they launch it now, or do you think that, I don't know? I feel like it's kind of like maybe Zoo was at Korea Blockchain's on as well. Why don't you guys have a DEX? You see, Hyperliquid has one, Binance has one. Why don't you guys have it? He's like, well, we built it. You know, I just think it's one of those things. We did do it, but we didn't want to put it out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like if they had it, they would have put it out.
They haven't made a statement that they are going to now.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think they will? Or do you think it's just I think it's kind of bullshit. I don't think they have a perp DEX.
I think that they probably will, you know, if Aster continues to you know, have success along with Hyperliquid.
Yeah, 100%. Brian Armstrong says Coinbase is listing 2 new stablecoins, AUDD, which is the Australian dollar, and XSGD, which is the Singapore dollar. Local stablecoins will drive local crypto business growth and help onboard many new users. Brian Armstrong. So this is something that I really, really love. I love the potential Forex moving on chain, and that's what this is, right? If you're sitting there and you're somebody who, you know, you play the Forex trading, now you can do this right on Coinbase's exchange just by, you know, selling the USDC into AUDD, and then let's just say, you know, the dollar drops a little bit, DXY drops. Now you can kind of potentially sell the AUDD back into USDT. It's going to bring an entire new market, an entire new amount of traders on chain for the very first time for a lot of these Forex style trades. And I think Forex right now is $1 trillion arena of liquidity that travels back and forth. And I think that bringing that on chain is going to be something that I think Brian Armstrong wants to do. But I do think that, you know, is something that's going to bring a lot of new users to crypto for the very first time.
Yeah, well, vice versa too. Like, you know, the existing Web3 users will play in Forex because, you know, just you're putting it in front of them. You know what I mean? I really do think that happens. You know, so this is big because 100%. Now this is like another example of, you know, traditional finance kind of merging with the digital asset space.
And another liquidity pool that I would play with, right? Let's just say I get to a certain point where I'm sitting on stables. I mean, putting half of it in AU or not half of it. Let's say I have $10,000 that I want to kind of put it out there. I mean, put $5,000 in AUDD, $5,000 in USDC, and put them in a pool, earning, you know, depending on the trading volume of that pair, right? Let's just say one day that pair does amazing. I can probably potentially make 8% of my money that year. Or if that pair does okay, I can make 4% of my money that year, right? Just from people trading AUDD and USDC. Right, I'll get a portion of every trade. Everyone who touches that pool, I'll get a portion of the trading fees. So, I mean, I love it. I love the fact that this is coming on chain because it's going to give people in crypto, and especially the banks. The banks never were able to really do that type of stuff. It's usually just the exchanges themselves making the money. But now a bank can just go put, you know, buy $500,000 of the Canadian dollar, buy $500,000 of you know, AUDD, and put them in a liquidity pair, and then seeing how much trading volume there is, and making potentially 6-7% on your dollars.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like a pretty safe and stable, you know, stream of income.
As long as that country doesn't fail, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, yeah, man, you're kind of betting on countries there.
Yep. And Stan did get caught up, so he's not going to be able to make today.
He's not making it at all.
Yeah, because he got caught up in the call.
Okay, that's cool. It's better than waiting because I'm out of stuff here. But that's our show, guys. We have 187 people in here. It is very, very slow right now in the crypto ecosystem. So we just thank every single one of you guys for checking us out each and every day. And we appreciate every single one of you guys each and every day.
Absolutely. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. And, you know, right now is a slower time in the space, but don't think we don't notice each and every one of you guys that support us, man. You know, myself coming back with the heat, talking about Tether and USDT. I love that. And then Justin Garraud, Coach Katz, Cheedy, all you guys, man. We really do appreciate you guys. And you know, this year hasn't been easy, but one thing for sure, we do wake up, you know, knowing that you guys are going to be here to support us, and we you know, put our boots on and we go to work. And so we're going to push through and get to the other side of this, where the sun starts to shine again. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you could check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that as well. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Bitcoin runes or alkanes, and very soon Spark tokens, then you got to do it at satsterminal.com. You can earn Amber points as well, and Amber points are an XP point system that are going to go towards a give back for early adopters. So if you guys are using the platform right now, you can earn Amber points. They won't be there forever though. So just know that. Also, there is going to be the borrowing and lending product that's going to be available to the public very, very soon. So look out for that. Head over to satsterminal.com to learn more there. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. You can take a loan out against your Taproot Wizards right now on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application on the Ethereum platform chain. And so I'm sure they're going to open up to other collections as well. And the Emblem team is going to open up to other chains as well. You know, some other layer 2s, Abstract, Base, Arbitrum, Bitcoin layer 2s as well, like Merlin chain. And Solana is definitely on that list to add as well. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem in Agent Hustle. If you head over to agenthustle.ai, you can actually use the free version of Hustle and ask it some questions to help you find some, you know, good plays. Hustle will bring back some options for you and dive into why he thinks these are good plays in the Solana ecosystem. You can also use them for conditional trading as well. But if you want the tool sets that are, you know, can give you even more of an edge, there is a subscription level within Hustle as well. You can use the Hustle token, which is a single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem there, but you'll get a discount if you use the Hustle token there. And there is another product within their ecosystem called Migrate.fund. They're getting really excited about that as the first cohort is about to kick off there. If you launch the token on Solana's chain from a launch pad that has liquidity stuck, but you want to migrate to another launch pad, they can help you with that. And it's a really seamless process, but you do need to work with the team to get that started. And if you reach out to them at emblem.vision, you could possibly get into their next cohort. The first one is pretty much closed. They got about 20 plus teams there. Again, the Hustle token is the single token for the entire ecosystem. So they'll use revenue from these products to kind of buy that token back as well. So head over to emblem.vision to learn more today. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Soon you will be able to trade synthetic fungible Bitcoin tokens like Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cat, already Sats, and possibly some of these Sparks tokens if they get enough demand there. You can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, and there's a trading competition on their platform. In first place gets 5,000 USDC. It's not too hard right now. I think first place is like a positive P&L of like $440. So you still have a shot. It ends October 2nd though. And so you got about 8 more days, I think, or maybe like 10 more days. But you want to take advantage of that. And then another $5,000 will be split amongst the winners below the first place there. And there is 20,000 ARA tokens that are going to be a part of that prize pool as well. And speaking of ARA, they had their IDO, which is closed now, but you can learn different ways to earn the token by, you know, making transactions on their platform, right? It's really, really simple. Head over to Artura.finance to, you know, just add liquidity to the vault. Is the largest multiplier for points. Also, you're earning points on the Botanics side as well, because they are live on Botanics Bitcoin layer 2, and they are tracking transactions there. Head over to Artura.finance today to learn more. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that is building for the best UI and UX for the industry. They support 3 major ecosystems right now in Bitcoin, Cardano, and Sui, and they will be adding more environments as well. But you can trade for Bitcoin runes, you can trade for Cardano tokens and Sui tokens, all in their app, as they have partnered with DEX aggregators swaps for all three ecosystems there. Also, they're working on multiple different products. You can actually stake their token that powers their ecosystem called the token directly in the app as well. If you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Play Store, download the application and try it out. Let us know what you think. Also, there's a little alpha section on their application. You can find our YouTube channel and others as well. Head over to Tokyo.io to dive in there. And don't forget, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. UTC, we have the BTC Zone co-hosted by Tokyo. Amazing guests are every Tuesday night, so make sure you check that out. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0 that's out right now, and it allows you to trade from your Merlin Chain wallet to buy Solana tokens, BNB tokens, whatever tokens that are in demand. All you need is some Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, and you can do that. Also, the Wizard can grab data from other chains like top 10 wallets of tokens, and you can grab well information, all that great stuff. So make sure you're utilizing that free tool on Merlin Chain called the Wizard 2.0. It can also do some DeFi functionalities for you like staking and swapping. And speaking of staking, there is a proof of stake concept for Merlin Chain, right? So there's 3 different options for you to earn. You can stake your Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. You earn 16% on average APR there. It is closing up in 6 days on the 30th of September, but I'm sure they're going to open up a new vault. So make sure you're following them on X so you can get that update. And then there's 2 options with the Merlin Chain token. There's the flexible day-to-day, which you earn 15% APR, and you can claim those rewards every single day and roll them up into a compound interest strategy. It does take 7 days to withdraw on the flexible, though. Just it's a part of their normal protocol process there. And then the last option is the Merlin Chain token as well. 6-month lockup, and you earn 45% APR there. Same thing. You can claim those rewards daily and roll those up if you'd like. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more today. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive. They are the fastest ordinal marketplace in the industry. If you buy an ordinal there, you get the ordinal right away. You don't have to wait for a Bitcoin block. They are trying to do the same thing for the sellers to get their Bitcoin, but as of right now, I think you do have to wait a single block there. They have their Ordinal Hive B collection that launched about 2 weeks ago. About 70% of those are staked. The community really believes in this team, and the team is awesome. You got Fonzie leading it, and then their entire team just really grinding every day to make Ordinal Hive great. So head over to ordinalhive.io, test out the platform there. There's trader tools as well, like the dashboard where you can see stuff that is chilling in the mempool. But check out ordinalhive.io, and we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always. And you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. Brand new article just dropped, Hyperliquid versus Aster. Aster, basically kind of what we talked about today, but if you want to just check this out or send this to somebody, they can kind of get caught up to see exactly what Aster is and Hyperliquid and why this DEX challenger is gunning for the crown. But we'll definitely check that out. Check out all the articles here with everything you guys need from, Deribit options platforms to everything else. Check everything, all these articles, 3 to 4 minute reads, absolutely perfect for somebody who is just trying to really find out what is going on in the space. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. It's my personal favorite. You get 77% off using our link here. If you go to the site, you have to pay $11.59, but if you use ours, you get $3.09. So definitely use our link if you're getting this, and lock it for 2 years, set it, forget it, be done with it. 2-year plan plus 3 extra months now. So you definitely want to get in if you're in there. So you basically get 24 or 27 months there for $3.09 per month. So absolutely amazing. Check that out when you guys need it. If you need to use Hyperliquid or MEXC, you guys can use a VPN to kind of get access to that. And check out our store. We got some of the best merch in all of crypto, shirts, hats, jackets, and so much more. It's almost hoodie season, so if you're thinking about getting a hoodie, get it through us. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana hoodies. I'm going to be adding more stuff here as well, but let us know if you want us to add anything, and we can pretty much add anything. Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. That is the quote in the Genesis block of Bitcoin. But check out everything here at OnChainRevolution.io, guys. And remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain. On-chain revolution, roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. On-chain revolution.